welcome back to Indigenous Talk. We are reviewing Season 3, Episode 5, House Made of Bongs. We are joined by our guests.
Ian Allison, host of Native Film Talk.
Hi, my name's Elias. I run the YouTube channel Native Media Theory.
And I'm Jacob, co-host of Natives React, and here for the fun.
Here for the ride.
I'm here for the ride.
This episode directed by Black Horse Lowe, written by Tommy Pico and Sterling Harjo. Episode starts out, feels like we are in high school.
Oh, that is love right there. That is love.
And then already we can see it feels exactly like Dazed and Confused.
For real.
We are in 1976. Other thing to note real quick, we are at St. Nicholas Training School. This is kind of like a blink and you miss it. This is the same school. From Episode 3, Dear Lady.
Good call.
A lot of the old boarding schools did that. After they weren't boarding schools, they just got turned into either elementary schools or high schools.
I hate to say it. I feel like our indigenous people say this quite a bit. We see St. Nicholas Indian Training School turns it into St. Nicholas Training School. What they do, they removed the Indian. Like, yeah. Anyway.
Dang.
Like the Land O'Lakes thing.
Exactly.
Typical.
Removed the Indian,
Yep.
kept the land.
Oh my, yeah. From here, we are given young Brownie, young Irene, and a young Mabel. Again, I just got even more excited thinking about Dazed and Confused, wondering if we were going to see any natives wearing a white t-shirt. And I was kind of expecting Jacob to show up in a white t-shirt with a pack of cigarettes under his sleeve.
Not six, man. That's a pack of tobacco right here. So, yeah. Protection.
We get young Bucky. He sings Frankfurter sandwiches, Frankfurter sandwiches. I tried to find the source of this. I don't know if you, I know. Another moment.
You and your eggplants. Hey!
Actually comes from an old vaudeville song. He's singing about trying to woo this girl instead of bringing her flowers and diamonds.
Every night I bring her Frankfurter sandwiches, Frankfurter sandwiches.
Frankfurter sandwiches, which are also known as hot dogs at the time. This might even be something that we won't find out until the very next episode. And what's the title of the next episode? Frankfurter sandwich. She's going camping. I don't know.
I was this close to being like, Pat, you were going way too
Bro,
deep
yeah.
into this. And then you showed the title, and I'm like, oh.
Aliens.
Now you have my attention.
Let's continue. Go to the classroom. We'll have a great summer. The last day of school. School's out.
School out forever. I know that didn't come out that year, but yeah.
Just real quick, if you're
Yes.
plugged in at all to Native fitness, like to see Thosh Collins, that was pretty
Collins,
awesome.
yeah.
Because in Dazed and Confused, he's dressed exactly like assistant football coach. The short shorts, just jacked with the hat, but instead he's wearing red.
And then we hear, hey, Maximus. He says, no, call me Chaban. He's going to stick around for the summer. Coach says, hey, go throw a ball around, showing him some kindness.
Can we go back to that one real quick? You see the Indian mascot. Like so many of the mascot imagery came from these boarding schools. Oh, what's at the school? Bunch of Indians. They either have them draw themselves or they would have a caricature of the view of Native people.
Continue from here, showing off the hallway. We're like, hey, wait, where did we see this before? We saw this in the previous episode.
Well, it's also Bear. Very first episode of the first season. Doing the same thing. Make a music video or
yeah.
recording
Bring
his
out a
friend. A lot of
friend.
parallels between Maximus and
Exactly,
Bear.
Jacob.
It's like a circle. It never ends.
Then we see Irene and Mabel. One little line right here. Did you storm any Capitol steps today? Or
Oh, did you catch he called her a-hole in moccasins? That's what
Oh.
people call AIM. Other
Nice.
natives.
Thank you
Yeah.
for
Another
telling
AIM
me.
reference later on in the episode.
They ask him, hey, did you get the window pane? And then upon my first viewing, I'm like, what the heck is window pane? Don't come after me, FBI, but I Googled it. Window pane is the street name for LSD, aka acid. I'm like, okay. This is research, kid.
Research.
Pat over here gonna get a knock on the door by the DEA.
Oh, no.
I'm so
like, oh,
naive, man. I thought they were gonna break into this school because he was the last one in the classroom. He was supposed to like unlock the locks at the window.
A literal window pane.
Yeah. And then as it went on, I'm like, oh crap, they're talking about drugs.
Here we see the Indian country's answer to the Three Stooges. Hey, do you have any drugs? What about your cousin, Mexico? We see something is up. Family ain't supposed to hold grudges? Continue from here. Bucky right here trying to convince him, hey, come spend the summer with me. I'll be okay. Starting to see him push people away already at this point.
Can you go back with 2 frames real quick? Worst blankets ever. Else had these in their house. That was my blanket growing up. My God, it was
It's a wool
itchy.
government blanket.
Yeah, my dad calls it the BIA blanket.
yeah.
Go back to that same frame again. It says Tim Hartnan, 73. I wonder where they're at right now.
I hope they made it.
Pat, research it. Pat, research it.
Oh, okay, I'll find the meaning of this.
You call up Sterling Harjo, like, hey, who's Tim and Nan? Tim and Nan is that couple in The Last of Us.
Their love even withstands apocalypse.
You should make up with Fixico. No, he writes it off. I have a book for you. The Mirrors Made of Millennia. This doesn't exist.
It's the same
but-
thing with the Man Moon book.
Yes.
Made for the show. So T. Samson is actually Tav Samson. Hotkey's spirit guide last season.
We need that Charlie Day meme.
I put that in the last episode. One thing I should mention real quick. A lot of the viewers got confused. I mean, I did too.
Of who's who.
Yeah, and so they put out pictures. Young Brownie, young Bucky.
Still sporting the Wrangler
sporting.
Holly jacket.
Young Elder Fixico.
I have so many old uncles' photos where they have that exact hair as
Oh,
Fixico
yeah.
and Bucky.
and a handkerchief.
Yep.
Irene.
Still rocking the 2 braids.
Yep.
Young Elder Mabel. Lastly, we have Young Elder Maximus. There was actually a comment by one of the Reservation Dogs actors, Kirk Fox.
Oh, yeah.
Says, young Kenny Boy was in prison during his high school years. So
Love that comment.
that's why we have no image available.
No mugshot.
No mugshot.
Not yet. Maybe we'll get one later.
True, maybe. And then we get the scene with Brownie.
The actor
Nathan Alexis.
is so good.
Absolutely kills it.
Oh,
He
yeah.
sounds just like Gary Farmer. Everything,
Yeah.
like the mannerisms. That's a young Gary Farmer, man.
My favorite Canadians, man. I don't know what they do to them up there, but they know how to act. For him to embody Brownie completely, it was amazing to see.
He's like, hey, how's it going, Brownie? Brownie is just suave. He's just chill, relaxed. Man, you could have been something. You weren't a bad tackle. Brownie is the epitome of that uncle who says that they could have gone to state.
Quarterback should have given it to me. I should have ran that.
We just ran the ball. My life is different.
Hey, coach, that's just not for me. Too many rules. Dazed and confused. They mentioned rules.
The older you do get, the more rules are gonna try to get you to follow.
And I thought maybe they would try to reference this.
You just gotta keep living, man. LIVIN.
I was like, ooh, are they going to do like, sometimes you just got to Skoden. Skoden.
You got to put Pat in the writer's room. That's a good opportunity.
And then we get fantastic line right here. They put out on their social media as well. Is that marijuana I smell in here? No, that's a cedar.
That's cedar.
No,
What kind of Indian
What
are
kind of
you?
Indian are you? Yeah.
And then they
All of a sudden,
Yeah, they're all doing that.
yeah, Brownie is just smooth. Like right here,
Take care of yourself, Brownie.
all the praise for young Brownie.
He's easily my favorite character of this season so far.
They head to Sonic's.
I didn't realize Sonic really that old.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, Sonic was the one that revolutionized the
drive-in?
curbside service. Yeah, I had no idea.
Wow, it was founded in 1953 in Oklahoma, Shawnee, Oklahoma. No wonder they're
Dang.
so crazy about Sonic. That makes
Yeah,
so much more
Sonic.
sense.
Dude, this is like more like.
Probably just how did we not know that?
I thought I know my Sonics, but I need to work on that more.
Get this discussion right here telling him that he forgot the drugs. I thought maybe there would be the reference. Don't have any window pane. Be a lot cooler if you did.
Yo.
Some variation of that.
Yeah.
Brownie goes over to Fixico. They talk about Maximus. Is he still mad at me? Like, Chabon. He acts white sometimes, holds grudges. Like, oh my.
What I really liked about this is humanizes the youth of our elders. That's something I've never seen portrayed on screen. It's always associated with trauma. Also made me realize uncles and aunties' beef that they have with each other is probably because of crap like this. And I just
Yeah.
never occurred to me.
That type of beef is alive and well in my own
For
family.
sure. We always put elders on this pedestal of where they currently are. I never never think about what necessarily formed them.
Mabel, tell me about Golden Hour. Golden Hour does come into play again later in the episode. Head over to the party. We get this beautiful long shot.
I've never seen natives in the 70s. A bunch of them just hanging out. So
Yeah.
I've never seen it like in the wild like this.
Brownie over here doing what Elias does, making up words to being young and indigenous. All right. Mabel's talking to Maximus. What's going on between you and Fixico? Maximus is kind of rational, but he's also kind of irrational. So you kind of side with him, but not really. Brownie talks a bit more. Hey, ever since I left school, just been welding. That's your dream, to be a welder? Maybe I could start my own dojo. And I couldn't help but think what that would actually look like, so I had something made. Elias, would you do me the honor?
Brownie's Mojo Dojo Casa
Brownie's
House.
I could see that. We also got this, which could be Brownie in the future.
Oh.
They go around. Irene says, oh, I'm going to join AIM. Mabel, want to raise little Indian babies. Bucky, I want to be a scientist. Maximus, want to make movies or something. They make fun of him. Here, Maximus gets personally offended. What's your guys' problem? Whenever someone has a bigger dream than yours, you just tear them down like crabs in a bucket. Ooh, that still exists today. That's still a big problem
huge.
among our indigenous communities. They call it the lateral violence.
Yeah, you're the one saying the big words now.
Lateral pressure. Look at you, man. I bet all of us have those stories that are exactly like that. Similar,
Yep.
very similar to that, where we just tear each other down. Gross why we do it, but this show sheds light on so much of the history that I think somebody who's a casual observer can start to see how a society gets to that point. But I'm glad that that's included in this show because we feel seen as Native people.
Classic situation of, oh, you think you're better than me. And it's
Absolutely.
like, what?
It's really weird whenever I go back home, ask, what do you do? I was like, oh, I do this, I do this. They had to one up you somehow. Weird. I'm like, okay, but like, I don't care about that. I care about talking with you and catching up with you and stuff like that.
I think it really shows that there's nothing wrong with everybody's dream. We're looking at it from Maximus's perspective. To him, his dream's bigger. When really it's like, hey, to go do something for AIM, that's activism. Go do something for welding. Like, that's a healthy occupation. You could support your family, or go be a scientist. That's a STEM field. Those are all very unique occupations. It's not like we're producing lemmings. This one scene encapsulates so much of the Native experience, and I think it's so powerful.
And it's such a small scene.
Yes.
It's
It's a throwaway scene.
We see Bucky.
Just pontificating about physics.
Quantum
I love
physics, yes.
and the bokeh behind the bokeh is the
Oh, yes, yeah. We start to get the...
for him it's warped, but then you go back to Physico and it's like normal. It's like it's because Bucky is like freaking wasted.
Bucky's gone. They're all about to take their acid. How long till we know? Till the creator takes you. Hey.
Golly.
That's a great line.
He starts to trip. It lines up perfectly at the golden hour.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I
Great
thought
job.
about this for a while. The golden hour is the most beautiful part of the day. Golden hour is also like right before the night. He gives a different definition of the golden hour than you would expect. The light from above meets the light that we make. Talking about like our own life, our own joy that we make.
Yeah, it's
meeting the
even
light above.
captured in the backdrop with the reflection of the horizon.
Bucky says right here, a big line, you don't realize you're feeling it till you've already been feeling it for a while. And then you can't recall feeling any other way. It's like you've always been there, just like the stars. We are the stars. He has a big grudge against Fixico. And kind of speaking to what you guys said earlier, we know a lot of our relatives who have held on to grudges. They have held on to that grudge so much that they can't recall feeling any other way about that person.
And we don't actually know what was said. That was powerful. You fight for so long, you don't even remember what you started fighting for.
Fast forward, we're ready to go. Fixico comes on over. You see that Fixico is just genuine from the very start. Maximus starts to lay out on Fixico. Again, gentlemen, I believe this is the only time he takes off his hat the entire episode. He's showing that respect to Maximus. We're here for you. Maximus tells him, don't look at me with your holier than thou aura. The way the camera is framed at this point, right, could be young elder, maybe with his halo, maybe with that big presence, which I thought was beautiful that they did with the camera. Amazing. Gets mad at him. What does Fixico do? I love you, cousin. Continue from here. They're in the car. There's another quote. How beautiful to never search for who you are. Everything you need is here in the millenniums of certainty living in your mirror. Maximus is drifting off and then he's like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean I have everything? I don't have everything. Fixico, in his mind, has everything. He has the better life. He has the easier
Right.
life. Hey, what happens after that? And then Close Encounters of the Third Kind moment. See Star Person.
This was nuts.
Not only that, I mean, this was beautiful.
This-
Like, oh my gosh. I'm your relative, came to look at you. And then as mysteriously as
They came, they're gone.
they can, yes.
I will say the way the alien talks kind of sounds like a medicine man talking. I'm your relative. It also reminded me of the UFO scene in Fargo. Have you guys seen that?
Oh.
There's
The
a
TV
there's
show?
a scene in Fargo, yeah, the TV show. They're having a shootout at a hotel. Out of nowhere, blind saucer that appears in the middle of the shootout. But Zahn McLaren's in that scene.
It all disappears for him. Crickets chirping. You know, what just happened? When the rest of the crew wakes up, hey, I saw something. They laugh it off. They don't believe him. Get the closing scene. Us as viewers, we are kind of just left with, wait, what did we just see? That's the whole episode. After watching the episode a few times, knowing that this is Maximus's first time doing drugs, and then all of a sudden seeing that, I feel like it's fair to say that this is the catalyst that sent Maximus on his destructive mental journey. That could have led to him getting institutionalized. He was pushing people away, and it only got worse. It is really sad when you make that connection, because also in the second episode of this third season, right, Maximus, he has that line, oh, all the tots are gone from Sonics. I mean, even in our review, we laughed at it, but getting this backstory now, his connection to Sonics is with his friends. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Dang, that made me really sad, knowing what lies ahead for Maximus, that this really affected his life. One other thing, if you look at the credits, the alien is actually played by Dalton Kramer. And who is Dalton Kramer? Actor who plays Daniel, right? Who passed away in the first season, right? Again, yes.
Yeah. Dude,
Yes, yes.
You're good on this one.
Daniel, he felt so alone, so much that it led him to ending his own life. I mean, this is how Maximus was feeling. I don't know. I feel like we could go on, but this just starting point of seeing this connection, I'm like, oh my gosh, there is so much more going on, so much deeper than you initially think.
I thought it was interesting how this is an episode about our elders, but then our elders got visited by all of our elders. So it's just like the box with another box thing. I thought that was pretty cool.
And then the last thing I have to share for my end before we share our own individual opinions, quick shout out to the Reservation Dogs Reddit. This episode explained a lot to me by showing something important. It also highlights how different Bev, Leon, Rita, and their whole generation is in so many ways. None of these kids comes across as emotionally healthy, and that itself seems normal. Eventually, they all become elders in their own way and do the best they can. But Willie, Jack, Cheese, Alora, and Bear are much more grounded, and will they have problems? Right here. They support each other in a way that Brownie's generation wasn't able to do at that age. Oh,
That's
great
pretty much what I was
analysis
going to
right here.
say.
From here, we're going to share our individual opinions. Let us know, Elias.
Maximus, he got made fun of. Everyone made fun of his dreams. Reen literally says, like, you talk funny, you know? And I think because of that, by the nature of him being different, naturally starts feeling that he needs to push himself away. And in indigenous communities, that happens a lot. You know, I know people who do that. Like, they purposely go out of their way. They don't want to be considered native.
For sure.
That aspect, living in two worlds type of thing, felt like this episode was actually one of the most important episodes. Kind of helps contextualize the growth that our main crew is going through. I'm gonna stop. That's already like
Ian, overall thoughts of the show.
I didn't know I needed a native Dazed and Confused, but after seeing this episode, I need one.
You also said Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, Freaks and Geeks or Dazed and Confused. I need a mini series, like a one season or a movie. I would love to see either of those.
All right, Jacob.
I was kind of upset against Maximus. Stop being a being. Come on. Stop being a being. Come on. Just like what we talked about, differences between their generation and current. Back then, it seems like you're just a lone wolf. You're just by yourself.
Just to add one more, Jacob mentioned younger natives now understanding the importance of community. This generation of res dogs, they're breaking the cycle. They're moving past some of these traumas and working through their own, but together.
With that, we are officially halfway done with the season. We only have 5 more episodes to go. This has been a lot of fun having the indigenous perspective, and this has been awesome. See you next episode.